Yo, what is up, everybody? It is Corey, the Jaginator, Marco, back with Season 8, episode 2 of the Dodcast here. We got to recap Lennon, predict Railyard. We know it's going to be a long one. We're going to try to cut that time down as much as humanly possible. We're going to watch the Frag of the Week by War here, which comes with a friendly reminder to time your fucking demos, because it is a pain in the ass. I mean, it's not even just that it's a pain in the ass. No one's going to do it. You know, like if you send a demo without a time, unsolicited, you know, like he might ask somebody to do that. And if he does, then hey, fair game. But if you're just submitting a demo without times, the clip's probably not going to be used, you know? Like I can't tell you how many movies I've made. I'm not, okay, it's not a fair comparison because I specifically made some movies where I just told the guys, like, give me your demos. I don't care. I'll watch them all. Like Doritos movie I didn't have times for. Watched every demo of his from like 4 years worth of matches. The Bleerg movie, Bleerg 2, which I didn't even end up making. I watched all of his demos to get the times, and then I sent them to Steve to make the movie. But in this case, it's a Frag of the Week. There are time constraints. You have 1 week, again, unless you're me and you just do it for 4 weeks straight because you don't feel like finishing it. You need to time your demos, right? It's just, and time your demos not using the demo tool, because that doesn't actually tell a movie maker anything. The demo tool is there to tell you, like, hey, you had this clip around this time. Now go into the demo and get the actual time. Because those times in the demo tool are just saying how long into the game it is. You know, like just from 0 to 20. Not the time on the actual demo, the timestamp. So, friendly reminder there. There's no other information. This is actually the second time I'm recording this year because it was 31 minutes. 31 minutes. Just so we can all look at it here. There it is. Right here. 31 minutes and 13 seconds. I have already recorded this for. And my microphone was not on the right thing. That's why you might notice me checking this over and over again over here. Because, yeah, kill me. Okay, let's watch the Frag of the Week. Let's watch, which I've already seen once now, in case that wasn't clear. I've seen this once now. There's no pretending I didn't.
A new KTP season kicks off with 21 teams, something we haven't seen in over 10 years. It truly feels like a new golden era is happening right now.
It's a great time, whether you're a new player or an old player, to come back, come join us. Day defeat on the up. We'll see you there.
All looking to come back online after the biggest LAN there's ever been. It was the biggest LAN there's ever been, and I don't care who disputes that. More ring to add to the collection. Period. I will debate you on that. We're trying to say otherwise. You can only argue that there was more of a first prize available, but or more teams because it got padded by pub plans. Come at me, bro. Here's the night paralysis. Sorry, sleep paralysis, demon. Pushy. Hopper. Little 4K action. The Tokester. Whoa. Ooh. You know, getting that third guy would have been nuts. Fincher. Here's me. You wouldn't respect me if I didn't go for that, right? I mean, come on. I'm not even actually sniping, so I extra get to go for no scopes now. Wouldn't respect me if I didn't go for that. Period. You got it. A little gift from the gods there for Matt. who's looking sharp after all the build-up to the LAN itself, getting ready for this season. I'm sure Matt feels like he's about as sharp as ever right now, and it shows. Ryan. Toki. That went right over that guy's head. If he hadn't been crouched, that actually was a kill. Here's the sleep paralysis demon once again. This was quite a storyline. Gets that sniper. And this guy snipes. Let me tell you. This guy snipes. Nice. And this was a double no-scope. I did not catch that live. I saw this clip happen in this cast, but I did not catch that it was a double no-scope to start it off. Which is nuts. Javi. We saw this live as well. Stolen by the Bitch X nade there. The Bitch X dead. Oh, you know what I just realized I didn't point out that I did the first time was G. Where's G's clip? Where's G's clip? Here? Oh, that's me. The flags. Here, yeah. See, G with the Canadian flag, not the Quebecois flag. The Quebecois may be offended by that. They do not identify as Canadians. They get their own little flag, and they're very particular about it. All right, so don't forget to submit to War Within. Please send times with it, not just a demo. No one's got the time to do that and still get it out within a week. And War has been very good about getting these Frag of the Weeks out. Week fucking in and week fucking out. All right. Now, time to try to cruise through the first 31 minutes a second time. All right. So, we did not cast this game. This is going to be the way that we get the fucking timing of this down as much as possible. If I didn't cast the game, I can't speculate very much on what happened. So, I'm just not going to try. All right. Uncle Rico's Time Machine versus the Wickeds. 1,115 to 69 for Uncle Rico's Time Machine here. Great first game for them. And this team is only going to get better as the season goes on. So take your chances to put them down in these first few weeks, because they're only going to get scarier and scarier as the weeks go on, and guys like Ian and Cadaver are playing more DOD and getting the hours back in. These are elite players, and they will only continue to get more and more elite. So, for the Wickeds here in the first half, 646 to 33 in favor of Uncle Rico's Time Machine. 179 to 98 are the kills in favor of Uncle Rico's Time Machine as well. For the Wickeds, Berinya, 26 kills. Good to see him back playing. He's such a good player. There are many lineups for the Wickeds that I think can beat anybody in bronze, and he is a part of all of them. Very important that he is playing for the Wickeds to have a chance. Jiraiya with 17, 16 for AZ, 15 apiece for Leto, 9 for Lucho, and on Uncle Rico's side, 43 for Stark on the STG. Such a Stark half, going out with the STG and dropping 40. 35 for G on the other STG. We just saw one 7 kill streak in that in the Frag of the Week. 32 for Kevin on the car. 27 and 7 for Head Like a Hole on the Sniper. 25 and 13 for Cadaver. Really nice first half back for him. On the Unter, I think he was kind of like third rifling. A guy who was a heavy always, so it's always possible that as time goes on, maybe gets reacclimated to the recoil and everything like that. He ends up heavying, but for right now, he's a straight up Unter Tommy. which is as old school as it gets. You just don't see that much nowadays. The only person that has done that with any level of noteworthiness lately has been Schmaltzy. Walter has been Untertommying all over the place, at the LAN, leading up to the LAN, and very effective with it. It is still an effective thing to do. It's just a lot of people put more value on the extra nade, which I get. Nades are way too OP in this game, and they are probably more important than any other weapon that you can have. But if you're going to be getting the extra kills with the Untertommy versus the Garand and the Stas, then what's the extra nade going to really do for you, right? Like, it's always a risk assessment when it comes to which one you're going to use. 17 for Ian. You're going to see, I think it's, in my opinion, a little easier to get back into the swing of things after a while in the game with the Garand. It's a little more forgiving, right? The car, it's like you have to be so sharp on everything, and that will come. Ian is a ridiculous fucking car. It's just first game back, right? Like, the car is going to be the significantly less forgiving weapon between the two rifles. Second half, Allied side for Uncle Rico. 469 to 36, about plus 50 on the kills, 48 to be exact. For the Wickeds, 33 for Barinya, so basically 60 kills for Barinya here. He's a really, really good player, man. I'm glad to see him back. I hope he's playing week in and week out because he is very fucking good. One of the highlights of the Silver Division in the early seasons of KTP. Ryan with 31 as well. Good half for him there. AZ with 25. Jiraiya with 18. 11 for Leto. 10 for Lucho. And on Uncle Rico's side, 47 for Kevin. ST Kevin in the house representing with 90 kills, which I believe will tie for the top frag in bronze. Maybe overall, to be honest. Can't say he's the MVP, though, because we got another guy who ended up with 90 kills and single-handedly capped out to win his team a game by a cap out. We'll get to that later, but obviously 90 kills in one game is not worth exactly the same as 90 kills in another game. Still a crazy, crazy match here for Kevin. 90 kills overall, basically a 2-to-1 KD as well. And then you had 31 for G on the other bar. Great game for G. 29 for Ian on the Garand. You know, he's always been a really fucking good Garand. I mean, this Ian and Cadaver, every hour that they play is just going to make this team scarier and scarier. You know, take your shots at this team while you can. 27 for Cadaver. Great debut game back for him with 50 kills overall. 25 for Nick on the sniper, so he ended up with like 52 kills, 21 deaths, you know, like a 2.5 KD or whatever. And then 17 for Kevin, not much left for him to do. Not quite, I know it was a 1,000-point win, and then some, a little more than 1,000. I'm not doing the math right now. Right? That's 1,000. Yeah, that's 1,000. Because I already recapped these games once. I got all the way to the end of silver. All the way to the end of silver. Just shoot me. So big win for Uncle Rico's to start. And as I said, they're only going to get better. You know, the Wickeds, they got a couple guys who I think will be playing as well. Like really good players that just didn't play this week. Obviously, Bullet, very important for this team. He was not in there. But then I think Zaps can't play. If Zaps was able to play too, I mean, this team gets really scary with their best lineup. All right, the other bronze game, because there's only 2 to do this week. There's a makeup match, as it says right there, being played by Ninja and Rifle Nades that I think will tell us a lot about the bronze division. This game was a really good game, though. So, Rodeo versus No-Go. Rodeo win by 65, 505 to 440, and this is the game that I was talking about was really the MVP game. I'm just taking my headset off at this point. There's nothing for me to hear. It's fine. So, this was the game with the 90-kill player. It's CK. We're going to show you it. And then, of course, I said there's nothing for me to listen to. There is something for me to listen to. Where is it? We're going to show you why I said CK is the MVP, certainly, of the week. Especially in bronze. Like, if I was just picking an MVP overall, probably Ready Fuels. What? Okay, I gotta go back and check that out. Deidro, looking to spam some walls. Hasn't encountered anyone just yet. Uh-oh. If they get mid back, CK's got himself a chance here. CK finds 1. CK finds 2. CK finds 3. He's got the 1. He's got a bird egg to drop. Can they get him out of here? CK with 4. CK looking for number 5. The swing and a miss. He finds a pistol kill for 5. Unbelievable run for CK. They need to get mid, and they do. Oh, and that's the carry that CK needed to execute to get Rodeo back in this game. 5 unanswered kills at the last flag, and just like that, a full cap and a lead back in the hands of the Rodeo. Somebody get this guy out of here.
Somebody get this guy out of here.
Looking to spam some walls.
Get this guy out of here. So yeah, that's why CK is the MVP. So we're going to see his he had 90 kills, but we'll get to that. First half here, 274 to 121. There is another thing to talk about here. So, and this is just like a heads up for everybody, just in case this happens to you. So Kickin was AFK when the match went live for the first 5 minutes. And I don't know why, because like they clearly noticed pretty quickly. I think you only have to notice in the first minute as far as the rules go. But if you have a player that's AFK when it goes live, just say not live. Just say not live. Shoot each other. Anything. Let them know, because the match doesn't have to be live just because it went live. If you got an AFK player, just say it. I don't know why the Rodeo didn't just say, hey, Kickin's AFK, it's not live. They just kept playing with 5 for the first 5 minutes, and TK and Kickin and Spawn. They didn't have to. They really didn't have to. You can just say, this guy is not here, or if a guy crashes, or if a guy lags out, or whatever. Just say, not live, and TK each other. There's nothing they can do about it. That's just the rules, right? So I don't know why they didn't. Maybe they didn't know that. Maybe they thought, once it goes live, it is live fully. Or maybe there's another reason. I don't know, but if you don't have your 6 players there at your computer playing when the match goes live, just say it's not live because somebody's not there, and restart, re-exec. Don't say ready until you have all 6 players there. And hey, if somebody goes AFK again and it went live, say not live. It's fine. It might be annoying and frustrating to the other team, but just remember you don't have to play with 5 just because it went live. Rodeo will end up escaping with a W here, but that could have been very detrimental. It was at the start playing 5-on-6. No-Go came out flying and was controlling things right away. But 274 to 121 ended up being the score of the first half. On the No-Go side, 37 for Spoon, of course. He's a fucking nightmare to deal with. I feel like his STG halves are always so good. 37 for him, 32 for 3-sided quarter. Ryan looked amazing. He had a lot of movie clips in this game. He was all over the place, just picking up weapons and fragging out with them. 30 apiece for Koi and Cushy. Koi is Cushy, is a sleep paralysis demon now. That's his name. You can refer to him as that every time you run into him, because he was the absolute nightmare of the Rodeo's lives in this game. And not even really that much in this half. He was all over the place in this half, but Allied side, he was there was no stopping him. He was all over the map. He was killing everybody. He almost brought them back and won this game. 19 for Jamie, 18 for Dedro, and on the Rodeo side, 47 and 30 for CK. Still doing CK things, still dying 30 times a half, but 47 kills, 27 for Snipies. Great first game this season for him on the sniper on a tough map to snipe. 25 for Lasik, who I think is severely underrated right now. I've gotten to watch a lot of Rodeo scrims, because CK really wants me to watch him a lot sometimes, and he'll tell me, come watch the game. Or Jane will tell me to come in. So I've watched a lot of the Rodeo scrim, and Lasik is really good, man. Especially considering how long he's been back. It has not taken him long to get himself back into the swing of things mechanically. Looks really good. Very important, too, to have that second guy there with CK on the rifles, being able to keep up with him, and also not do what CK does. Because you can't have 2 guys going and doing that. It's just not going to work out when it comes to winning games. But, yeah. 25 for Lasik, 24 for Nick, 18 for Kickin, 14 for Bo, 153-point lead to start things off here for the Rodeo. Heading into the second half, No-Go do end up winning this half, 319 to 231, but that full cap we saw by CK ends up being the difference in a 65-point game. On the No-Go side, 38 for Cushy. He was just,
insane. You saw it in the frag of the week there. He was all over the place. He was getting kills with every weapon, 4 or 5 kills at a time, making life miserable for the Rodeo all over the map. The heavies were so good for Nogo here. Real problem that Rodeo had to deal with. 31 for Greg as well. That's 68 for him, 68 for Kush. If Nogo had won this game, Kush was definitely the MVP. 24 for Deidro, 16 for Koi, 15 for Jamie. Quarter's not there, but I'm pretty sure he had about like 28, 29 kills, if I recall correctly. And then on the Rodeo side, 43 and 30 for CK for a 90 kill total there, tied with Stark for the big fragger. But one game was a 1,000-point win, one game was a 1-cap win, and CK was that 1-cap. So that's why I said CK would be the MVP for Bronze this week. Maybe the MVP overall. I'm not sure if one single player had as much impact on the game as CK did, to be honest. 90 kills and the difference maker of a cap out is a lot. And that cap out wasn't like CK got that one last kill and prone dive for the flag or something. Like, he killed 5 guys at the last flag, held them at the one long enough for his teammates to go grab it. Very, very big time right there. 25 for Lasik right there as the second fragger. 24 for Nick. 23 apiece for Snipies and Bo. 22 for Kickin'. And a big debut win here for Rodeo against maybe the favorite in Bronze in No-Go. You can definitely make a case for that. I would. I think Bronze is pretty open-ended. Rodeo, all the teams I think are pretty capable of beating each other, depending on the map each week, right? And the lineups in some cases. But yeah, Rodeo started off 1-0. CK, big first game there in his first season in Bronze, which I'm sure CK is just loving getting to say he's a Bronze player right now. All right, next up, onto the Silver Division. Am I at least ahead? Oh my God, how am I behind? All right, game violation multi-hack versus Best Buds. I picked GVMH, but Best Buds end up winning 414 to 376 via a last 15-second cap out by Bromley, I believe. I forget if they said it was Bromley or Bobby. They told me in my Twitch chat, and I've forgotten exactly who it was. I think it was Bromley. But this game for GVMH, it was kind of what I expected. Raleigh, 39 kills, No Name 37, Hooli 30. This half, Best Buds wins on Axis here by 83. Frags were +8 for Best Buds. But the big three for GVMH are going to be as reliable as you can possibly hope for. They're going to put up 30 to 60 kills every single half, each of them individually. And they did here. And then the other 3 guys, they're source players. They're slowly getting acclimated. This team is only going to get scarier and scarier. This is the least scary that they're going to be, and they still almost won this game. Best Buds had to pull it out of their asses in very dramatic fashion to win. So, if you're playing GVMH early, you're really going to want to try to get that dub, because later on when you play them again, it's not going to be as easy. It's just not. They will only get better. But yeah, 39 for Raleigh, 37 for No Name, 30 for Hooli, 22 for PG. I think he's the closest, I've gotten to play probably like 4 or 5 games with him, and you can see he's right there. I think he will break through, so to speak, earlier. But yeah, he's right there. Sango with 17, Knack with 16, and on the Best Bud side, 41 for Hopper. We just saw one of the clips in the frag of the week. 32 for Piff, 73 kills between the two heavies. Very, very important to win your Axis side of Lennon. If your heavies are just controlling apartments, that makes everything so much easier on the Axis side. It really is such a fucking X factor on this map, and especially this half. 29 for the Brom Bomb, getting to Car, no longer having to be Mr. Swiss Army Knife and play a different class every fucking half. Getting to play the Car now. Putting up basically 30 kills and a positive KD. Bobby with 26 right behind him. Ryan with 22 and Big Bird with 19. So yeah, 83-point lead there. I don't know why that clicked out. And then in the second half, GVMH do end up winning this half by 45. You can see it looks like they had 2 lagouts, right? There's no way No Name only went 11-4. He probably had at least 35 kills.
And then Sango only 6-10 there. There's no way he only went 6-10 with one flat cap. There's no way. They definitely both lagged out at some point, and it looks like they might have lagged out relatively around the same time. So whatever, I didn't cast this game, so I have no idea what happened, but I would assume that was some kind of a factor, right? I don't know. Someone will be able to let me know on that. 43 for Raleigh, though. 80 kills. 82 kills, actually, for Raleigh. Crazy, crazy game for this man. As expected, right? 31 for Hooley. Again, as expected. Such a good sniper. I love watching Hooley's movie. If you haven't seen it already, sometimes it just comes out. I don't know why I thought I was just going to pull it up for you to look at what the title was. Yeah, sometimes it's like right at the top of my YouTube when it's right there. See? This movie. Go watch it. If you don't know who Hooley is for some reason, go watch it. Just go watch this movie. It's made by Beast Media, which I'm not sure if No Name made the movie. It's possible, but I watch that movie all the time, especially when I'm going to be sniping. Really, really fun movie. But yeah, that's who Hooley is. 26 for PG, right behind him. Like I said, I think he's the one that's closest to really like breaking out of the other three. And then 15 for Knack, 11 quote unquote for No Name, 6 for Sango. I'm 99% sure both those guys lagged out. So can't be certain exactly where their KDs were at. And then on the Best Bud side, 32 for Piff, 30 for Hopper. Again, the heavies leading the way there. So important on Lennon. 28 for the Brom Bomb, and I believe the last cap out to win the game in the end. 27 for War, 14 for Bobby, 8 for Big Bird, and I guess you could call it an upset win. I picked GVMH, I'm pretty sure. So, I think Best Bud said they prefer to be the underdog. So, Rodeo said the same thing too. Bo and CK were like, why'd you pick us to win? We like to be the underdog. I get it. Being the underdog is pretty liberating, to be honest, but Best Buds get the W here, and that's only going to look more impressive as the season goes on, and you start to see game violation, multi-hack. Week 4, week 5, that team is just going to be so scary. Because outside of No Name, Hooley, and Raleigh, the other three are only going to get better and better with the more hours they put in the game. So if you're playing them early, you're really going to want to try to get that W now, because it's going to be significantly harder the next time you run into them. Next up, we got Clinic's return to silver, triumphant return, as you can see there, with a statement win, 705 to 183 over Volvo. Clinic, who haven't been in, they were season 1 undefeated champs, then went up to gold, beat Thunder, went back down to silver in season 3, went undefeated up until the semifinals where they lose to Goose Patrol 2-1 in a crazy best of 3, and then they're back in gold for season 4, 5, 6, 7. And I have been advocating for them to be in silver just about every season since season 3. Problem is there's always multiple borderline teams. And usually one of the borderline teams who you look at the roster and go like, that's clearly a gold team, but they really don't want to play in gold. And they're talking about it nonstop, how they're going to fucking lose their minds if they get put in gold, which I really don't understand it. From my perspective, to me, I always want to be in the situation that gives me the biggest challenge. I want to prove where I'm at. But I guess sometimes they don't want to put in the extra fucking time and shit or whatever. But Clinic never complained. And, they're being rewarded now by being back in silver for the first time in 4 seasons here. They actually asked to be put in gold in the first season. I remember watching an old Dodcast and talking about No Regard, how they were requesting to the admins that they be in gold during that season. So that is the original reason I fell in love with Clinic, was these guys are begging us to put them in gold when they're in silver. Nobody else, I guarantee you, there has not been another team in KTP, maybe in all of DoD history, that was asking to be put in the upper division from where they were actually placed. That is so baller, man. That's you got grapefruit balls to be asking such a thing, rather than being please put me in the lower division, right? Now they're back in the division that they conquered first before anyone else, and a 705 to 183 win over a tough Volvo team.
is a good way to start it off. 401 to 89 on the Axis side here. 50 kills on Insam. Very important piece of the puzzle for Clinic. I think this season their lineup is going to have a lot of moving parts. I'm not sure what the best lineup even is for Clinic now. I don't think Carpenter is available, and that's kind of like one of the stalwarts of the lineup for them. But they got plenty of pieces to mix and match around here. This 6, you got Suave still available there. Chris W's on the team. I'm probably even forgetting somebody else that's available on the roster. Who am I forgetting here? Who's missing? Carpenter. Allen. I mean, look at that. Like, Allen's not even in the lineup there. Suave's not even in the lineup there. Chris, Carp, not in the lineup. And they go out there and win by 600-something points. 50 for Insam. He's so good, man. He's not there all the time, but whenever he is there, it seems like that is a huge X-Factor. You know, him and Debo, the other 4, they're kind of like always there, right? And then it's who's going to be in the last 2 spots. Is Debo available? Is Insam available? When they're both there too, ooh, it gets a little bit scary. And then the question is, where is everybody else going to end up at? But they've got like basically 9 players, assuming that Carpenter is not available to play, who you can just pick the names out of a hat, pick the classes out of a hat, basically, and they're going to be able to win just about any game. 34 for Sam, who is on the main rifle there. You love to see it, Sam not having to third. I'm sure he had a lot of fun getting to Carr. 33 for Vic, 31 for Debo, the heavy team, again, on apartments here. On Axis side, just, that's so huge when your heavies are dominating like that. And Vic and Debo are really, really good playing off of one another. They have a great mix of play styles and chemistry. So unsurprising there that they put up a big show. 20 for Tom, 15 for Walter. It looks like Walter was on the sniper. The first time I looked at the screenshot, I was like, was Tom on the sniper? And then he switched and Walter ended up on the sniper. But then you see in the second half, Walter is on the sniper there too. So I think he just sniped. And Tom Stas bars. We're gonna find out. The lineup is really weird when you see the classes. On the Volvo side, I'm less sure what the classes end up being here, but 32 on Yanni, I'm guessing he was heavying. 25 for Kingyo on a rifle, 23 for Wua, 21 for Manor, probably on a heavy, 20 for Scotty, 9 for Toki on the sniper, and then into the second half, Allied side for Clinic, 304 to 94. Kills were a dead heat, 166 to 166. There was 1 extra TK on the Clinic side, it looks like. Wait, what? No, there was actually way more TKs. Oh my god, I read that wrong. 12 TKs on the Volvo side, 11 TKs on the Clinic side. TKs or suicides. That's funny. I looked at it, was like, oh yeah, just 1 and 1. No, it was actually a lot more than that. That's fucking funny. All right, on the Volvo side, 33 for Toki. We saw some of those clips in the Frag of the Week. 33 for Scotty, who we've talked about. Like, he's a guy who, when he's feeling it, when he's hot, is borderline unkillable. You know, when he gets going, man, like, I don't know how many times I've had to play against Scotty when he was on one, and he is just so hard to deal with when he's feeling it. And I'm sure it felt like that in this half for Clinic here with him getting 33. God, my fucking microphone thing is dusty. I need to open up my computer and look in the inside, because if this is that dusty, ooh, problem. 27 apiece for Kingyo and Wua, 24 for Yanni, 22 for Manor, and then on the Clinic side, 37 for Sam. He ends up with about 70 kills. 32 for Tom on the bar, so he's Stas barred, as I said. 30 for Insam to give him 80 overall on a rifle. 29 for Debo on a Garand, so he STG Garanded, which I think Debo might be more well-equipped to STG Garand than just about anybody. I don't think there's a lot of players who, if they were STG Garanding, I would be concerned and concerned to play against it. I'd be like, oh, nice, he doesn't get the bar the second half. But Debo with the Garand is just as scary. Debo with an STG is just as scary. That's, there's not a lot of guys who can pull it off, but he's definitely one of them. 29 for Vic on the bar, and then Walter having to do the miserable job of sniping long. We all fucking hate it. I don't even do it. If I'm sniping, I'm carbining, in actuality. Or Tommy gunning if I'm really desperate playing against Under in the quarterfinals, third map, second half of World Series of DoD, and I'm prone in the coffee spot with a Tommy gun just for a little extra insurance. But yeah, Clinic back in silver, making a statement right off the bat. Their division. This is their division. There's some really fucking scary teams in silver, but most of the people who I talk to who, watch a lot of DoD are deeply ingrained in the community, looking at this division and saying Clinic are still the guys to beat in it. I agree. I agree. I think Clinic has got to be the favorite anytime they're in silver. They've played 2 seasons in silver. They went wire to wire undefeated in one, and then undefeated up until the last 2 maps of the semifinals at that point. And those games, one of those games could have easily gone the other way, and Clinic just swept and ended up in the finals, and who knows what happens then. But when Clinic is in silver, they basically haven't lost outside of that best of 3. So, gotta favor Clinic, man. You just gotta. The guys are fucking gamers, man. They want to be there. They want to be there. All right, so this is where... Oh, my God. Now, how am I behind where I was the first time? That's insane. I'm going to scream. Next up, we got Price is Right versus Expired. This was another fucking amazing game here. It ended up being a 64-point win. Basically, again, 1 cap out for Price is Right. 322 to 258 over Expired here. First half, Allied side for Price is Right, 169 to 102. Kills were plus 10 in favor of Expired because these guys can fucking frag no matter what's going on. On the Expired side, 35 for SQ. Of course, he has been as reliable as anyone at just dropping bombs all the time. 32 for Fincher. Going to be one of the best heavies in silver this season, guaranteed. 29 for Raven. 27 for Anna. 25 for Super. 22 for Pizza Hut. On the Price is Right side, 34 for Kellen on the bar. Of course, he's going to get his on the Allied side with the bar on Lennon, guaranteed. 30 for Caleb on the Tommy gun. He was just all over the place, picking up multi-frags and double nades and shit. Just being a menace, pushing up long. 29 for Leo in his return to competitive DoD action. So good to see him back in the server and immediately being such an X factor. Of course. 28 for Pibian, another guy who I didn't know if he was ever going to play DoD again. He had stopped playing, and then he's back. And we all love watching Pibian snipe in this game. He went 28 and 22 there on Allies. 22 for Trance, 17 for 9, and a 67-point lead after the Allied side. The easy side, right? So, like, if you're Expired, you probably feel pretty good, but Price is Right is able to hold on in the end here. This was such a fun game to watch. If you didn't get to see it, definitely go watch the VOD of this one. It really came down to the fucking wire. It was up in the air up until the last, I think 20 seconds. Very, very fun game to cast for me. But yeah, second half here, Expired do win the easy side, but only by 3 points in the end, coming up just short. They outfragged them by 12. Price is Right did a really, really good job of defending and retaking, which is kind of like the name of the game on the Axis side. More often than not, you're going to get put up against the wall, and you've got to break out and retake, right? And Price is Right had a really good idea of how they wanted to go about that, and they executed it well. On the Expired side here, 33 for Super, really, really good half for him on the bar. 31 for Fincher as well, 64 kills between the two heavies. You can't ask for much more than that. They definitely did their job. Raven with 30 kills, doing a lot of damage, pushing up all over the map. He was not just relegated to pushing up long steps into a fucking nade vacuum. He was all over the place. 28 for Pizza Hut, 27 for Anna, 26 for SQ. Just a really well-balanced attack here for Expired. Everybody kind of carrying their weight, but Price is Right, man. 40 kills for Riv. He ends up top fragging overall. 75? 74 for him, and then Leo had 29 and 38 for 67. I don't remember. I think I gave Riv the MVP and Leo like the co-MVP. I mean, first game back and being right behind Kellen there. Leo was just dominating on the Axis side. So many movie clips with the car there. Looking like the Leo of old. 24 apiece for Caleb and Pibian on long, 22 for Brett on the car, and 15 for Tony on the Unter, and a narrow win here in a battle of two heavyweights in the silver division. Price is Right, the name, obviously. Season 2 champ, and then they're basically SEC, the Season 7 champ? 6? I forget which season they won. The seasons are starting to blend together for me now. That's rare for me in a DoD context. Yes, Season 6. That's what I thought. Season 6 champs. So, I mean, it really is like a combination of silver champs from multiple seasons. Price is Right in name, SEC in lineup. It's basically just SEC, to be fair. They're just calling themselves Price is Right. They do have a couple guys from the Price is Right lineup of Season 2, but when it comes down to the bones of the team, there's not much there after, Caleb, Corey, and... Was Trance on that team? Hold on. We're going to check again. Because we're already behind schedule. Why not get myself more behind schedule the second time I'm fucking recording this fucking thing? No, I guess Trance was not on this team. So yeah, it's really just Corey and Caleb. No one else from the Price is Right is on this team. There you go. That explains it all. All right. Moving forward, big win for Price is Right there. I think I predicted them to win, but I think I probably predicted it to be close as well. I mean, Expired was so good last season. They're still so good. They're going to be tough for everybody. This is the last silver game? Looks like it. All right, so Clan X versus Emo Frag Squad. Clan X, definitely one of the favorites in the silver division as well. Emo Frag Squad, kind of jetty, right? Kind of jetty. Which, are they cursed? Is the jetty curse applied to them now? Only time will tell. They are definitely putting in time into trying to ensure that curse does not get them. But did not work out for them in week 1 here. About a 200-point win. I think that the score was a little bit deceptive. There was a couple of pretty fluky cap-outs for Clan X. Emo Frag Squad did a really good job on Axe's side of damage mitigation. It looked like they were going to escape with a pretty close game and be able to go to work on allies. However, a last-second dead body cap-out as time expires, basically, gives Clan X even more of a lead after they were... So here's the thing, right? They were dominating for the majority of the half, but Emo did have full control of the map multiple times. It's just they pressed a little too hard, too quickly. They didn't really establish control and then press forth for a cap out. They got control and then it was just straightforward, and then they all died, and Clan X retook the map and pushed Emo right back to the 1. And then Emo would defend, they'd hit their shots, they'd hit their nades, they'd clutch up, and then they'd go get a flag or two, and then they would die right after they got the flag, and then Clan X would recap it. This was happening back and forth, back and forth. It seemed like Emo, they were always doing the right thing right up until the point where they would all die. And yeah, they're aware of that. You know, I'm not saying something they don't know. It'll just be a matter of adjusting that in future games of a similar ilk, because it's tough. It's tough in a game like this. You feel like you have to go get more control, but sometimes you need to sit on what you got for even just like 10 seconds. Kill even a half of a wave, and then you can push up very safely instead of pushing up and having to take an aim duel that's 50-50, right? It's easier said than done, I know. It's easy for me to say because I'm usually the guy that ends up having to sit back and hold while everybody else pushes up. It's not easy for everyone else to do so because that's boring, but sometimes that's the way back into the game. So, first half here, as I said, 227-70, so it ends up being 157. It would have been double digits, right? Instead of over 100 or anything like that, it would have been like 90-something after the first half, if not for the last-second cap-out that Clan X ended up getting after threatening a lot and Emo looking good on the defense. So, on Emo's side, Ian, 27-18, great performance here. He was very, very important in them holding their last flag, hitting shots as a sniper. More often than not, that's the case on Axe's side of Lennon. When you're holding your last flag, your sniper needs to be sharp there, because a lot of these fights are going to be at range. Nades are going to be flying everywhere. People are moving all over the place. You can kind of pot yourself like a plant,
hit the shots that you need to, thin out the numbers to make it easier for your heavies and your rifles to do the same, whether it be with the gun or with the nades. 23 for J-Rod on the STG, 21 for Matt on the other STG, 20 for Apple on the Stas, 19 for Saf, 17 for Steve. Saf had a few really, really clutch 3Ks on the last flag as well. She almost got a fourth at one point. And then, wait, did she get TK'd or... I forget if she got TK'd or if she just died. But on the Clan X side, Bitch X in his return to organize competitive DoD, 32 and 27 right off the bat. It's like he never left. 30 for Javi on a bar, 28 for the boy wonder Rafinha, the baby goat. That well team was just a nightmare for Emo. Like really the big X Factor players for Clan X Factor were the well team and MP. MP was basically the swing guy at long. He was not often really pushing into blue. More often than not, if Clan X, because you're gonna lose your long players. It's just inevitable. It's such a goddamn disaster in that bench area now that people know how to nade. Because like years ago on Lennon, yeah, sometimes people threw nades over there, but it wasn't like there were 6 nades being thrown every time you kill both the long guys. Now, the odds of your 2 long players surviving more than like 45 seconds at a time, very slim. And Javi, I don't know, like it could have been a team strategy or it was just his game sense, but he was very regularly making sure that when the long guys were dead, Emo was not going to get long. And if they did get long because the break didn't quite come in time, they were going to die right after it and it was going to be recapped. So very, very good play by Javi there. And then the well team was just borderline unkillable. Bitch X and Rafinha were just all over the place, getting multi-kill after multi-kill. 22 kills on Lobaton, 21 on Nitrox, 20 for Bud, and a 157-point lead after a last-second cap-out for Clan X. On to the second half now, 241 to 191, a 50-point win for Clan X on their Axis side. They had another kind of fluky cap-out there, too, where Emo had multiple guys alive, and they weren't at the last flag, and Clan X capped out. That's why I say the game was closer than the score shows, because... it just was. You know, I would say it felt more like Emo lost the game by like 80 to 100 than that they lost by fucking 200 something. It just really didn't feel like that much of a blowout. Kills were plus 14 for Clan X. On the Emo side, 32 for J-Rod on the bar. He was just doing everything he could to try to get them back in this game, man. He was all over the place, just fragging his fucking balls off. Steve with 28, you could see him get really comfortable on the Allied side here, getting into the swing of things. He started really locking down well against the insane fucking rifles of Clan X as this half went on. And that's going to, Steve hasn't played competitively at all since season 2 or 3, whatever season Jetty played in, I don't remember. So... once he gets back in, that's another big piece here for Emo. 25 and 18 for Matt. Really, the bars here of Emo did a great job in apartments. 19 for Saf. She had the one cap that they got here was because Sapphire got like 8 kills, literally, pushing Blue Room. She got like 4 Garand kills, threw a nade, got a nade kill for number 5, and then got like 3 more Garand kills, and then they finally got long and they capped out. 18 for Ian, 11 for Apple, and on the Clan X side, 37 for the baby goat, Rafinha, 32 for Bitch X. Again, those rifles were just insane. That will be a storyline for the whole season with this team, guaranteed. 25 for Nitrox. We saw that sick 4K in the frag of the week. 20 for Javi, 18 for Bud, 15 for Lobaton. Big first week win for Clan X. As I've talked about, they're one of the clear favorites in the Silver Division. One of the other favorites did not play this week. They had to buy the, what are they called? Band of Morons. Band of Morons. Coming into the season, I said I feel like Price is Right. Clinic. Expired is probably right there, but I think Price is Right, Clinic, Clan X, Band of Morons are like the big 4. And then, Expired is right there. I think Game Violation Multi-Hack is going to be there by the time the season ends. Best Buds. This division is very wide open. Emo Squad. Where's Emo Squad? Oh, there they are right there. just because I'm saying that those are the big four, I still think Emo Squad can also beat all of them. I still think Volvo can also beat all of them. I still think Best Buds can beat all. We just saw Best Buds beat Game Violation Multi-Hack, which I think by season's end, that's going to be a huge win to have in your back pocket. Yeah, I think Silver is just the Wild West this season. I just say the big four because if I had to put money down right now on who I think the semifinals are going to be, it'll be Band of Morons, Clan X, Clinic, Price is Right. That would be my preseason pick for who the top four end up being when all is said and done at the end of the season. But the season is a long one, so just because that's the case now does not mean it's necessarily actually going to be the case. Just my opinion with one match played for the very nothing that's worth. Okay, we still have gold to fucking go over. I can't believe the recap is going to take an hour. The recap is the short part. All right, Thunder versus Icy Hot. This is my game. We can do this one quicker, at least. This is a very, very close game. 315 to 278. We won over Icy Hot. That's, 37 points? Super close game. Basically, let's see. So 175 to 132. We lost our Axis side here. They ended up breaking through for an extra cap out that I definitely felt like we shouldn't have given up. We outfragged by 8. They win by 43. On our side here, we had 30 on Jules, 27 for both Tox and Brian, 25 for Omenair, 24 for me, 13 for John. On the Icy outside, Ben, 32, 23 for William, 22 apiece for Sean and Justin, 20 for Chi, 19 for Jesse. And yeah, 43-point lead going into that half. Then we win our allied side by 80. Icy Hot did eventually break through and we're just fully up our asses, like off and on throughout the second half here. We were having to defend at one point. So I still don't know who it was. Somebody on our team died to Justin in back cave, and Justin picked up their nade. And I'm like sitting in the corner in front of the treehouse room trying to hold our last flag, and I just see a nade like fucking soaring up from the heavens into my face, and it's clearly an allied grenade. It's so confusing to me in the moment, and he gets a double nade kill. But thankfully, Ryan was still alive, and he got a kill or two to clutch it and keep us alive. I guess we still... Oh, no, we wouldn't have. We wouldn't have won. We would have lost. It was 35 points or something. But yeah, we won this half by 80. The kills were plus 21, but Chi lagged out at one point. It's weird because... So Chi... I went and watched the demo to see what happened there, and he actually... When he was lagged out, so I don't know if it was like he lagged out, got back in, and then restarted his game because he had lagged out previous, but right before he leaves the game, he is fighting with somebody, like he's shooting at John Gale. They're fighting, and then he dies and reconnects. Before that, he was definitely like stuck, like lagged out seemingly for like 5 to 10 seconds, and then he comes back, he shoots through John like with 10 bullets, and then reconnects and comes back in. So I'm not sure exactly what happened there when he ended up lagging out. It was very, very weird. I'm assuming he like lagged out, got the flush entity packet shit, got back in, and then like realized as soon as he died, like maybe like I got to restart my game or restart something to get back in and fix whatever's going on there, because he definitely lagged out at some point. That's why his score is 6-6. So on the Icy outside, 31 for Sean, 28 for William. Of course, you expect those guys to be doing that with the car. 25 for Justin, 17 for Jesse, 16 for Ben, 6 for Chi, but it was really probably like 20-something. And on the Thunder side, 29 for Jules, 28 for Ryan. The bars with 57 between the two of them. Good job for them. 24 for Tox, 22 for Brian, 20 for John, 21 for me. And yeah, we barely hang on here. As always, every game we play against Icy Hot is a barn burner. It's always a close game, except when they like shit on us on Thunder that one time, which wasn't a close game. It's probably one of the biggest blowouts there's been on that map ever. Definitely felt like the swiftest spanking I've ever taken on a Thunder or a Donner. Outside of that, we always have close games with Icy Hot. This was no different. Lennon is one of our strongest maps. And I would way rather play them on Lennon than a whole lot of other maps, you know? Like, I think if this exact kind of game plays out on just about any other map, Icy Hot ends up winning it. But on Lennon, we're just a little bit more comfortable than we are on something like Harrington, Thunder, Solitude, fucking Railroad, Railyard, any of those maps. I think we end up losing and it being a close game in the other direction. But Lennon, we just have that little bit of extra confidence to understand what to do in the moment. Maybe Anzio being the other one where I feel like we might win a game and that's like this. But yeah, we will be seeing them again, and I would guess it will go in the other direction. And then this game I did not get to cast, so I'm not sure exactly what happened, but it's Dice versus Soul, 603 for Dice to 299 for Soul. First half, Allied. I love how often the screenshots have welcome to the tech gun game server. Everybody is warming up in the goddamn tech servers, I guess, because so many screenshots have that fucking text over them. End round screenshots. So like right before the match without restarting their, is that how it works? I guess maybe I'm wrong about how it works. Maybe that's just the way it goes if you ever play in the tech server. But I feel like it means they were playing in the tech server right before the game without having restarted their DRD after. So no clue what happened in this game. First half, close half here. On the hard side for Seoul, they only ended up losing by 75. 75. I don't know why that was so hard for me to do the math. Plus 14 in favor of Dice on the kills. For Soul, of course, Justin P.B. Simpson, 42 kills. This guy is just one of the best fucking players in the world, period. Online, on land, doesn't matter. We all saw it at the land, too. He is a fucking demon. If you're playing against PB, you just know it's going to be a long day. You're going to lose like half the duels that you felt like you should have won. And that's going to get frustrating, and you really, really got to be ready. You really got to be ready for that mentally, right? You just got to know ahead of time, like, I'm going to get owned by Justin, and I can't let it get to me. And that's kind of the key against PB, to not have those lost duels then spiral into 1,000 more. You got to just take it as it is. The guy's insane, and he's going to own you sometimes. Same with Craig, who ends up with 27 here. It's another one where it's just like, you feel like you're going to definitely win this fight, and then he's going to shit down your throat instead, and you're going to be pissed off, but you just got to hang on. 25 for Cam, I'm assuming sniping, right? 23 for Shreddies, 20 for Rye, 19 for Jared. No Blackhawk this week, so Twist was in there on the other heavy. And then on the Dice side, 34 for Kaboom on one bar there. That's huge, obviously, on Lennon. 30 for Alex, right back into dropping 30s week in and week out online after his insane LAN performance. Matt, we just saw him on the frag of the week. He had 29. 26 for Johnny. So 28 for Kevin. Always the line gets me. 28 for Kevin, 26 for Johnny, 23 for Paul. 75-point lead after the easy half. And then they just said, you know what they said? Actually, Axis side is our easy side. That's our easy side. 329 to 100, a 229-point win. 170 to 129 on the kills, basically plus 41. For the Soul side, 23 apiece for Justin and Jared. 22 for Shreddies and Jackson. 20 for Twist. 19 for Cam. And then on the Dice side, 36 for Die Life. So I'm assuming he had other clips in that half that just didn't make it into the frag of the week, because he had 7 extra kills there compared to the Allied side where we saw his clips were from. 32 for Alex, so 68 kills between the rifles there on Well is just so hard to deal with. Good luck ever getting Well back when between the two of them they have about 70 kills. 30 for Paul in the SDG, great Axis side for Paul. I'm sure that helped solidify the apartments as well. 26 for Kevin, 26 and 8. Man, I don't know how this guy snipes Lennon so effectively, man. I'll never understand how anybody does it. 24 for Chris as well, so 54 between the two heavies and apartments on the Axis side. Positive, both of them, massive. And then 22 for Johnny. Big W for Dice. Coming back online after the runner-up. Massive performance that they had on LAN with this exact lineup. I talk about Dice all the time and how scary they are. And, another season online here where I feel like their confidence is at an all-time high.
and things are only going to get better for them as time goes on. They are one of the favorites for sure. Obviously, the gold division is like smaller, so you know, you kind of feel like everybody's a favorite in a way. G-Skill is the favorite. I'm sorry for everybody else, but they just are. But after that, it's like anybody. Anybody can beat anybody in this division. And this G-Skill game, kind of proof of that, because 7-point game. G-Skill versus Over. This was the match of the week. I said ahead of time how good of a game I felt this was. They're both really good at Lennon. Over's best map, I would say. They have a few maps that they're pretty fucking scary on, but I think this is their best one. And they're especially effective on their Axis side I talked about. So, first half here, Allied side, 271 to 148 in favor of G-Skill. Kills were actually plus 11 in favor of Over here. On the G-Skill side, so the lineup, you had Linus in there, so it was no Gull, right? Yeah, no Andrew. And then for Over, they basically, so they had no Nick, but like, oh, we have no Nick, so we're just going to use Nightmare, right? Like, you know, technically, and hey, for all I know, maybe the plan this season is that Nightmare is the starter. Maybe Nick can't be available all that often. Unclear, but it's a really nice problem to have. Like, oh shit, we don't have Nick Patton, we're just going to throw Nightmare in there. Like, oh shit, we don't have Jules, we're just going to throw Ryan Emo in there. Oh, we don't have Tox, we're just going to throw Dorito in there, you know? Like, yeah. So, for the G-Skill side, 34 for Taylor. Just looked excellent on the both halves of this map, but it's just all over the place, hitting crazy fucking shots. 32 for Milo, so 66 between the two heavies there. 31 for Timo on the Garand. 30 for Chuck on the Sniper. What a half for him going long. I still don't understand how people ever get 30 kills sniping. I mean, I guess he is on a Tommy gun here. To be fair, right? That I understand when you're the sniper going long and like you're getting 30 kills without the sniper rifle. But I think most of his kills were with the sniper, to be fair. I think he picked up the Tommy in the last like 2 minutes. 24 for Franker and 18 for Linus. And then on the Over side, so Sokka, Stossing Well, their Well team was just out of this fucking world, man. Sokka and Kum on Well was fucking insane. Sokka top fragging with the Stas going Well. If you've ever tried to Stas Well, you know how impressive that is. Crazy half for Sokka. And then 37 and 19 for Kum. Insane. Devin at 32 was next up. Those were the big three there. 27 for Caffrey, 26 for SC, 20 for Nightmare. I mean, this is what you get out of Over, right? These guys can fucking play. They are scary. Every one of them individually scary and capable of killing your entire team in an instant. And so they come out of this half, the hard half, down by, what's that, 123. Not bad. It's not too bad. 2 cap outs, basically. And then on to the second half here, they end up winning by 116. So the way that this went down before I look at the screenshot, going into the last, I think it was like minute, basically G-Skill was down to their last flag. They needed any double cap to win the game. And then they go and they ended up, I think it was like 4 guys went long. They got long. They secured it. They held long and mid, I believe, for the rest of the game, so they end up winning by 7 points. I'm pretty sure if they hadn't been able to get a double cap, they would have ended up losing by like 1 or 3 points, something like that. Basically, Over just had to keep them from getting either double cap. They didn't need to cap out, that's for sure. Cap out would have made it like a 55-point win or something like that. But really, you just saw the composure. G-Skill has been here so many times. They just won a LAN, undefeated. You know, Taylor is going to be directing the boys where they need to go if there's any doubt about it in that moment. You know, they're all smart players. They all understand the situation, going to be aware of exactly what they need to do, and they did. You said there was no hesitation. They knew exactly what they needed to do. They were fully aware of it, while I was even unsure of it in the moment, to be honest. Oh, look at that. It's another tech gun game server. Someone actually tagged that in the emojis. Sorry, I just noticed that. But like, even I was like, I mean, I was 99% sure, but in the chat, there were some people saying like, no, they don't. They just have to give up a cap. And I was pretty sure that they just needed a double cap, doing the math on the fly.
And yeah, they do. They get the double cap in the end to win the game. It was a crazy game. This is maybe the match of the season already, and we've only played 1 week. I'm pretty confident in saying this will be a top 5 match of the season, and I feel pretty confident calling it a top 3. It's going to be tough to top that. Especially, I feel like in Gold with how explosive this match was. You know, Gold is a lot more methodical. It's a thinking man's game at the Gold level, right? It's not all-out chaos where people are just, like, ramming into each other like Rock'em Sock'em robots. But this game was a lot closer to that. It's just the thinking man's game was at such a level mechanically, too, that there's just crazy frags going off all over the place, and there's thought behind it. Like, there's a reason for the chaos. Sometimes in the silver and bronze games, it's just like you got a guy like CK just running straight forward, like throwing nades in guys' faces and spinning in circles. In this game, it was like the highest fucking level chess game of insane fragging power you could ever imagine. So on the overside here, they end up out fragging by, okay, no, Colin lagged out in a really unfortunate timing, right? I don't remember if it was that they capped out right before he lagged out or right after, but the frag totals, that's deceiving. It's not 181 to 132. It's probably like 181 to, say, 160 or so. Over definitely did win the frag battle in this half, but not by fucking 50 kills or whatever. Okay, on the over side, 37 for SC on the bar. The guy's a fucking monster. 34 for Saka. What a game for Saka, man. And he is maybe the biggest X factor for over. He's not around a lot in matches that I've casted for them in the last couple seasons, at least. When he is there, that is such a big difference maker in this lineup. He's so good, man. I mean, he just top frag for them, going well, Garan Stasing. You got a Garan Stas like that. That's basically like old Thunder, where we had Toxinator Garan Stasing and, you know, top fragging a lot of games. You get that added to the mix with all these other fucking psychos, like, good luck to most teams. I mean, they just obviously came close to beating G-Skill here, and have really been the only team that has put a fucking thought into G-Skill's head of losing in these last 2 seasons. They beat G-Skill on Halley. Obviously, it's Halley. There was missing players for both sides, whatever. But then here to start things off, this might be the closest game G-Skill has all season. I would not be surprised if we get to the end of the season and we look back and say, well, Over came close to beating them in week 1, but nobody else did. And when Saka's in that lineup, if you got this 6, and obviously if Nick is on the sniper rifle instead of Nightmare, it's just as scary. That part, irrelevant, because they're both God, Monster, plus Nightmare tier. I am Nightmare. But that's kind of like the lineup for Over. That is the God Squad. And you see why in this game. So yeah, 34 for Saka, 33 for Nightmare. What a fucking half for him on Allied side long. I was watching him a bunch during the cast, just being like, man, this is insane to see. 32 for Devin, 29 for Caffrey, 16 for Kum, and on the G-Skill side, 29 for Taylor, 29 for Linus, 25 for Chuck, 24 for Milo, 22 for Frankie, and I think it was like 28 or 29 for Colin before he lagged out. Well, total, he's probably around 25 when he lagged out. Taylor got the MVP for this game, not just for top fragging, but also, you know, he's the leader of this team. And G-Skill's game, that is something that is supremely important. You know, the voice of Taylor within that team, his experience, his understanding of the game at every level, on every position, is just so important for them. You need somebody like that. You just do. And the rest of them all are capable of doing the same thing and are all just, you know, as smart. It's just you always need a voice or two to really like wrangle things up, not have there be any like dissent in what anyone thinks you should be doing. You need somebody to just say like, hey, this is what we're doing now, let's go do it. And that is something that Taylor brings in spades to any time he's playing any game. You know, it's just he's just a leader like that. So what a game, man. Don't listen to me talk about it, just go fucking watch it. It was a really fun game. There was even some drama in there with the whole nade glitch thing. You know, so yeah, just go watch the game, and that's going to be an all-timer for sure when this season is all said and done. Oh my god, I can't believe how long this is. Jesus fuck. Whew, all right. We have now recapped
We have now recapped. Now we can get on to the long part of this show. Oh. Jesus. I mean, I've been recording for so long now, I actually have to pee. Like, I think I'm going to get up and go pee before I do this. Because otherwise I'm going to have to get up in the middle of this part of the show. So, like, fuck. 1 second. Holy nipples. And I'm not even cutting that part out. You know why? Because even though you technically can do it through YouTube, it takes about 10 hours for it to just remove 10 seconds from the video. They make it seem like it's a really efficient way of just editing. Like, oh, I just want to remove this lull. No. You upload it, then you go do that little editing, and then it takes about 12 hours to actually process that small bit of edit. So, fucking unbelievable. Okay, here we fucking go. Go like that. You know what? I'm just gonna go like this too. And I'm going to mute this so I can at least have some music in my ears while I'm doing this. Because I'm tilted. I'm tilted after I record this. You know, I can even listen to this. The latest single. This isn't coming through on the headphones right now, right? It's not. Okay, we're good now. My mic is coming through, though, at least, right? Oh, thank God. Wait. Is this another re-recorded song by them? Never take friendship personal. Is Ready Fuels on this? I don't think it is. It's not. So they're re-recording all the Anne Boleyn songs with the new singer. No shit. We're running. Yeah, that's sick. Hold on. I gotta post this. I gotta post this real quick. All the old Anne Boleyn songs. I gotta let the G-Skill guys know. There we go. There we go. Fucking sick. That is sick. All right. Sorry. This is what happens when I record basically half the video once, only to find out technical difficulties. I'm a goddamn mess. Okay. Let's get to it. That's the schedule. These are the rosters. All right. Right off the bat here, let's start off with Rodeo versus Uncle Rico's Time Machine. This is an interesting one. So, for Rodeo, last week the lineup had Bo in it, but I think this week they won't. I think it'll be Yarrow, Nick, Lasik, CK, Kickin', Snipey. I'm pretty sure at least. And then for Uncle Rico's, you got Head Like a Hole, Purdy, G, Cadaver, Ian, and Stark. The map is Railyard this week. Railyard is an interesting puzzle that we have yet to really see solved by the community as a whole. It's only been played one time in matches. Season 6, week, whatever the fuck it was.
So 1 week's worth of team versus team competitive matches. Obviously, there's been drafts, 12-mans, blah, blah, blah. Different. That's different. You cannot base anything when it comes to a map off of 12-mans or pugs or drafts. It's not a good indication of how the map is actually going to play. There's too many variables in the mix. Like, a map can seem really fun when you're in a 12-man because you're on, like, the stacked team side or you're going a route against, like, somebody you're just shitting on. And then when you go play against it as a team, turns out when you're playing against the players on the other side that are thinking about it, it's miserable. So always remember that when evaluating a new map. Now, Rodeo versus Uncle Rico, in particular, is a very interesting game to me. Uncle Rico going to improve as the season goes on. They started off with a monster win against the Wickeds, but they are not their A self yet. Rodeo, getting Yarrow in the mix this week is going to be big. He's really strong on the heavy. Again, another guy. I get to watch Rodeo scrim here and there, and he's looked really good on the heavies. Him and Nick are a good heavy team. For Uncle Rico's time machine, I don't know. See, I don't know how much they scrim, right? Like, it's possible they're just kind of showing up for matches. And if that's the case, I definitely would say Rodeo. If the guys like Ian and Cadaver are getting reps in throughout the week, even just a couple, then it starts leaning back more towards like a balanced thought on it. But, either way, I think I go with the Rodeo here. CK is obviously going to get 1 million kills. Uncle Rico can easily win this game, right? CK is the biggest hurdle that you have to clear. But on top of that, they got a couple other strong players throughout the entire map that you're going to have to deal with. Snipey's up against Head Like a Hole. This is a good sniper map, right? You got maybe the strongest loft in the game. The Axis double windows. Every good sniper loves being in those double windows. The Allied side now has a loft that's a little bit closer to being OP. I wouldn't say it's OP at all yet, but it's good. Like, you can get a lot of kills and establish yourself in there. It's just a little annoying getting flanked because guys can just fucking sneak their way up 4-way, crouch walk, all the way up behind you without ever making a sound cue or opening a door. There's some problems with this map, and it's unfortunate that some of them weren't found until this week. Because Tox would change them. It's just you can't change the map on like a Wednesday, right? Even if 90% of the community is like, hey, do it, there's still going to be 10% of people that are just going to make it not worth it by losing their minds over it. It's just inevitable. I don't even know who it'll be, but it will be somebody. It might be somebody you don't even expect. It's just one of those things you can't do. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see this map play out. I'm going with Rodeo here. But I expect this to be a very, very fun game. It's a good measuring stick for the Uncle Rico side of things to see exactly where their players are at and could easily win this game with just a little bit extra coming out of a couple guys. We'll see what happens with that, though. I'm rooting for Uncle Rico all season here because I want to see Ian and Cadaver fucking succeed and stick around in the game, But yeah, tough matchup to draw here with CK. He's just going to be such a nuisance for these guys. They definitely did not play against anything resembling CK in 2004 for Cadaver's case, and for Ian later on, like he played up until I think 2007, 2008. CK is a beast of his own. There wasn't anything like that at that point. So we'll see what happens with that game, but I'm going with Rodeo here. They're going to be upset that I picked for them. They like to be the underdog, but, I think just pound for pound here, I like the matchups. There's a few spots where I favor Uncle Rico's side, but I think overall I lean Rodeo here. If Nick Head Like a Hole has a strong game, that goes a long way because it can be dominating. You can be dominating as a sniper on this map and just obliterate so much of the team. That's one big question you got. Being able to get value in apartments on both halves is also very important. The apartments is a weird fucking thing on this map. It's not like Railroad 2. It feels like Railroad 2 when you're looking at it and thinking about it, but when you're actually playing it, it's different. Still important, very important, that area, but it's different. So, yeah, Rodeo by caps are 40. Say by 60. 60. Next up, Rifle Nades versus the Wickeds. Rifle Nades have not played their first game yet, but one of the favorites in bronze, without question. For the Wickeds, Jiraiya, probably Bullet, Ryan, AZ, Leto, Lucho, Barinia, kind of like the main batch of players that you're likely to see in there, right? Jiraiya Jr. doesn't really play DoD outside of when Jiraiya asks him to, his dad, right? Zap's new baby, not available very often. So yeah, that's generally what you can expect out of the Wickeds. On the Rifle Nade side, Arachnid, Azilla, Firo, Celts, Chrono, and was it Boom? Shit, I gotta make sure I don't leak DMs. I have the lineup, and I specifically went to go make a thing so that I wouldn't have to go fucking check DMs like this. Where'd it go? Chrono, Boomzor on the heavies, Firo, Azilla on the cars, Celts on the third, Arachnid on the sniper. That's the lineup. And that's a fucking good lineup. I really can't wait to see, especially Celts playing. Chrono is going to be good. He is a 1.3 player originally. Celts, a legendary source player, I'm sure will have no problem getting into the swing of things in 1.3. Boom, I look forward to seeing as well. We know what Firo brings to the table. We know what Azilla and Arachnid bring to the table. They're kind of like the big guns here, I would say, against anybody in this division. Rifle Nades might be the favorite, and when you just look at it objectively, take the source part out of your mind, they might be the favorite in the division. There's still a lot to learn about all the teams here and the matchups and everything, but this team scares me a lot, man. Azilla and Arachnid alone can really fuck your ass up, man. They can really fuck your ass up. And then you add in Firo. We've already seen he's a good 1.3 player. We know Chrono's a good 1.3 player. If Boom and Celts are able to be just like average, then that's kind of a lot for a bronze team already. So yeah, I mean, I'm going with Rifle Nades here, right? There are definitely some lineups for the Wickeds that I don't think we'll get to see them with, like Barinia and Zaps both in there with Bill, Ryan, AZ. That can compete with Rifle Nades, but I think from what I understand, it's not super likely that we're going to see that anytime soon. This is a map where like good teamwork can definitely turn a corner for you, and the Wickeds is as capable of that as anybody. All of them have been playing together for a while. You got Bullet there kind of leading the way, directing traffic. But man, the frag power on Rifle Nades, they're going to be playing 2 games on Sunday, and I think after those 2 games, we're going to know who the 2 favorites are in the bronze division very quickly. You know, if Rifle Nades go out there and beat the Ninja, then right away, because I think Ninja is one of the favorites on paper as well. And then it's going to come down to like, okay, so if they beat the Ninja especially convincingly, then it's probably going to come down to who wins the Rodeo Uncle Rico game for who the other big favorite is. We know Rodeo beat No-Go in a close game. We'll kind of have a better picture of the bronze division after this Sunday. And then speak of the devil, No-Go versus the Ninja, that's another really important game. On the No-Go side, we had Deidro, Koi, Quarter, Cushy, Spoon, Jamie. Obviously, Matthew can just jump in there and play any class without playing at all and be a god. Blue Revolver, same thing. Solid, I would love to see get in there, man, get the brotherly tandem in the mix. But that was the 6 that they had last week. No clue what potentially it will be this week. For the Ninja, I know nothing about the lineup right now because they haven't played a match yet. So I can't even say, like, well, this is the 6 they had last week. I assume that Miller plays, Illusion plays, Woody, Bestia, and then at least one of Verb, Steve, and Dirty German. I don't know if AimTech is playing DoD at all. That's another big question mark, because if you put AimTech in the mix on this team, so you have Miller, Illusion, AimTech, Bestia, and then any 2 players. These guys are all already really strong DoD players, man. And they're only going to get better. Again, another one of the teams who I think, whatever they do in week 1, they're only going to be significantly better by week 8. These guys are taking the time to understand the game, and they have the foundation of being pro players in another FPS game, and the crossover is pretty substantial. just seeing how they look early in their careers, getting to 12-man with and against them, they have such a good foundation to be excellent DoD players. And the more hours in the server, the faster they get there. Still question marks here. No clue on the aim tech thing and what exactly their 6 will be, but I'm very, very excited to see Ninja play out this season and see what the lineup ends up being and where the Call of Duty players end up when all is said and done. I think that they are going to surprise a lot of people. You know, it could even be just kind of like a CIS story from Season 2 again, right? Where players that, like a bunch of players from another game, in CIS's case it was Source, make up the bulk of a team, come in, start off the season on a low note, but end the season on top of the world, on top of the podium, winning their division. I would not be surprised to see that be what happens here again. But that game will be very, very telling. You know, No-Go is for sure one of the favorites in the division. That I'm sure of. They can beat anybody. They had that very close. I mean, that you 99 times out of 100 probably No-Go win that game. CK dies to one of the 5 guys he kills, or like a detonate or something. They don't get that cap out. No-Go wins the game, right? Big win for Rodeo to have pulled it off, but you know, No-Go should not be down on themselves for that game at all because they were winning it for the majority. Obviously, you also have the caveat that Kickin was AFK for the first 5 minutes of Allied side too, right? So to be fair. But yeah, Ninja versus No-Go is going to be very, very telling. Railyard is an interesting one. Now, again, aim tech, right? Is aim tech playing? Because if you have aim tech playing on Railyard, I probably lean to Ninja. He's going to outsnipe 95% of the snipers in the game on this map, especially on Axis side. Good luck. If he's not playing, it's a little bit of a different story. I don't know who's sniping then, potentially. No clue. But Quarter's going to be good. I can tell you that much for sure. And even if he's not playing, they got like 4 other guys that can snipe. Matthew can snipe. Cushy can snipe. Deedro can snipe. Obviously, if Blue would decide he wants to snipe one of the best snipers, I don't think he wants to because he did it for so goddamn long, and we can all tell you how goddamn boring the class is. But I don't know. I am under the impression that aim tech is not playing this season. So I'm going to work with that information and say No-Go takes this game a very close one. And No-Go is on the icy hot path where they go from losing close games to then winning close games on their way to becoming elite, right? That's a storyline we've seen a few times where it's like, you lose some tight ones, and then you figure out how to win the tight ones, and then you can parlay that into more and more wins. That was the icy hot storyline back in Season 2 when they first started playing. They lost like 4 straight weeks by single digits, and then they started winning by single digits. Then they were winning by more and more, and now they're icy hot, right? So yeah, this is an interesting matchup. To me, maybe even the match of the week, to be honest. Again, we'll know more about that one even before that match because the Ninja's going to play Rifle Nades at 8 that night, I believe. Right? Is it? Where is it? Yeah, 8 that night. Okay. Good shit. Okay. I believe that is the Bronze Division locked and loaded. I'll probably get to cast multiple of those games. Actually, I have no idea what time and day we're supposed to play. I think Monday, so I should have that extra couple of time slots available to cast on a Sunday night. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, on to the silver side of things. We got some heaters. No game violation multi-hack this week. I mean, probably good for them to just not have to play this map because there's a lot of shit about it that's frustrating. All right. First off, we got Emo Frag Squad versus Volvo. So for Volvo, as I said earlier, they're going to be missing Toki. That is a tough loss on Railyard. A map where the snipers can have so much impact. Toki is so good in those elevated loft positions. They're going to have Sean Luke in there playing. He'll be good too. It's just Toki is so fucking historically good on these maps. But then it'll be, Scotty, Yanni, Manor, Kingyo, Wu. Obviously, they only have 6 players, and we know one of them's missing and who's playing for him. On the Emo Frag Squad side, you got Steve, Matt, J-Rod, Ian, Saf, Apple. That's the 6. I think there's maybe some question if Steve is going to be there or not for the afternoon game. Potentially Decaf could be in there. Obviously, a big loss if you're missing Steve for this lineup. So, I watched Emo Frag Squad scrim on this map last night with their starters, exact starters, versus it was like kind of a Best Buds pug. I think it was like 3 Best Buds players and then Milo, Die Life, and T. So that's, quite a good 3 players there. And Emo Frag Squad lost a close one. They looked really good. They could have easily won that game. I think they look really good on Railyard after getting a couple scrims under their belt and kind of understanding what needs to be done on this map in certain situations. We've definitely had conversations about it, like, because we played a scrim and lost on it, trying to figure out what could work better against certain theories of the meta that the other teams are deploying. And I think they look really good. And I think for Volvo, not having Toki is just such a huge loss on that sniper side of things. I think that tilts it back in the other direction for Emo Frag Squad. If Sean can go out there and put up a Toki-esque performance, then I think maybe things can go the way of Volvo. But I'm saying Emo Frag Squad by like 80. Maybe a little more if you get, like a huge performance out of a J-Rod. Watching Apple play in the scrim last night, I mean, my butt just about fell off my body, some of the things he was doing with the Stas. There's a point where he's just like in mid with the Stas on top of the mid cap and just like kill the guy balcony, kill the guy lower apps, kill the guy white steps, kill the guy connector. Just like one shot, just all in a row. He's insane mechanically. Insane. Just needs to die a little bit less. If he can die, 10% less per half, I mean, immediately becomes such a monster of a fucking player, man. I would be so scared of playing against a guy like him if he's, only dying like 22 to 25 times per half instead of like upper 20s, early 30s. What am I hearing right now? Some fucking weird songs coming up in my playlist. We're going to listen to Deftones instead. All right. I'm going with the Emo Frag Squad there by about a cap and a half. Volvo not having the stud sniper available in those lofts is going to be tough to come back from. Their other players are so good. Like, it's still going to be a close game regardless, but going to be some pressure on Sean to try to come close to what Toki can do in order for Volvo to have a shot to win that one. All right. Best Buds versus Clinic. As I said earlier, I really have no clue what the Clinic lineup is going to look like. They have 10 players, and I believe 9 of them are available to play at any point in time. Insam is always hit or miss, right? He's a busy man. Scott, around like 75% of the time, I'd probably say. Carp, potentially not available at all. Last week's lineup, we'll just say, was Tom, Sam, Insam, Vic, Dan, and Walter. And then on the Best Bud side, Hopper, War Within, Bromley, Nicholson Eats Ass, or Big Bird. I'm sure Big Bird would love that I called him by his government name here, Nicholson Eats Ass, Piff, and Reptar. They got PD available as a backup, of course, who has played the original Railyard thousands of times, I'm sure. Railroad 1, Epion, Chicago Legend, also available and good backups. So I've seen Best Buds play this map now. The one last night was only like 3 of them. But I played with Rodeo in a scrim against them. They look good, man. War is going to be tough in the loft. Whoever's sniping for Clinic going to have to deal with him. The apartment side of things, very, very strong. And then Adam in 4-way, just hitting crazy shots. Like hard shots that he makes look easy. The Piff Hopper heavy combo is tough. Here's the thing, though. This is Clinic. And I think Clinic are the silver division. I can't pick against Clinic. I'm not going to pick against Clinic, I don't think. Until Clinic actually lose, I'm not going to pick against them. I already very rarely pick against Clinic when they're in gold. So I'm not going to pick against them now. It's just a lot to overcome, man. Clinic is so good across the board. Every one of them is capable of going out there and putting up 40 kills per half. Period. I'm recording this, right? Oh, yeah, okay. For a second, I was doubting myself. I think Best Buds will keep this closer than you might think. I think this might end up being like a game that pushes Clinic a little bit. Like a 40, 50-point game. Best Buds just looked really good on the map. Like, even though, I mean, I was playing with Rodeo, right? So it's not like I was playing with Thunder and we lost, but just for me personally, the way it felt, like they just felt like they had a good grasp on what they're doing as a team on this map. Individually, they're all really good players. It's just Clinic is also a really good fucking team and all really good players individually. And, you know, whatever lineup they put out there is going to be a handful for anybody. So, Clinic, I say 40, 50, 60 in that range. Next up, we got Price is Right. This, I think, is one of these two is definitely the match of the week. These are both going to be fun games. I assume this one is in the afternoon, so that bodes well for me being able to potentially cast it. But yes, Price is Right versus Band of Morons. Band of Morons making their debut after a bye in week 1. So on the Band of Morons side, we don't know exactly what the lineup is. I think Insight has said that he's thirding on this team. So, what are we doing here? I don't know who's sniping. It could be any number, like Nicholson, probably, right? Darren probably sniping. Till could be sniping, though. Defrag could be sniping. Cody, you assume probably heavying, but you could also have James heavy. You could also have Insight heavy. You could also have Baron heavy. I'm really unsure. Ben, I mean, I think he's not super available. Unclear, but if he's there, if you have Ben playing on a rifle, that's a massive guy to have in there. Same with Casino. Whatever class Baron plays, he's going to get like 65 plus kills. What really, it almost doesn't matter what their lineup is. It almost doesn't, because all of them are so versatile and such fucking good players. Like, this team is scary. And I look forward to seeing what their lineup actually is going to look like as the season goes on. Because, again, I think that they are a clear favorite to go to the semifinals at minimum. And then on the Price is Right side, you know, you're going to have Tony and Riv on the heavies, Caleb on a third, Corey on a car, Leo on a car, Pibian on the sniper. That's at least, I think, always their plan 6. And then if someone's missing, you can slot in a guy like Brett or Ron. Probably not Rob, because I don't think he has a computer. And I don't think he can play DoD from his phone. But if anybody could figure out a way to have an impact playing DoD from his phone, I think it would be Rob. This is a tough one, man. We saw, I mean, no Corey Price for Price is Right last week, but we saw like what they bring to the table. They are fucking good, unsurprisingly. They've got kind of everything you want from a team. They've got in Riv and Leo last week, 2 frag happy boys. They're just gonna go out there and get 70 kills, right, at minimum. And then you also add Corey to the mix, who is a similar guy. Now, I might be concerned on some maps with the crazy aggressive play of these two guys. Like, it might be a little unbalanced in that regard. One of them might have to rein it in a little bit, or else it's going to be 2 rifles dying 60 times a half, potentially, and you can't have that. As fun as it is to watch, it's not good for winning. You know, and Caleb can rein that in, certainly, on the 3rd rifle. It's just, I think one of them needs to slow down just like 5%. You just can't have both of them dying like over 25 times, dropping cars that many times. That's really, it's not even the death itself, the respawn timer. It's the cars on the ground. I think a lot of people don't think about that, how often you're dying to allied players with cars. It's a lot. And as you have cars that die more, that number increases more. And you're losing fights that you would otherwise maybe be favored to win because you're peeking into an allied car now. But regardless of that, like, Price is Right is, you know, the cream of the crop here. Man, I don't know on this game. I honestly have no idea. This is going to be a really, really good measuring stick. Man, I don't know. I see so many lineups for Band of Morons that I just am like, mwah, chef's kiss. But I have no idea if any of those lineups are what they actually are going to have here. I don't know, man. I don't even really have like a coin I can flip. I'll flip a Zin. I'll flip a Zin for this, man. The first Zin flip prediction of the season. Heads is Price is Right. Tails is Band of Morons. It is heads, so I'm picking Price is Right. What's interesting is, and this is a good way to use a coin flip, you flip the coin, you don't actually use the coin to decide, right? You flip it and you see what you're thinking in your head when it's up in the air. And I was thinking Band of Morons, but I'm going with the coin flip. Price is Right, I'm going to say by less than 10 points here. But it is interesting to me that when it went up in the air, I wouldn't have guessed beforehand, but when it went up in the air, I was like, probably Band of Morons, right? So, I mean, instinctively, my gut said Band of Morons for a second there, but this is such a good game, as is the next one. I'm saying Price is Right by 7 points here. But, man, that's going to be... This team is so stacked. Like, honestly, when I saw this roster before the divisions were picked, I figured this team ended up in gold. There, that is such a stacked fucking roster. Just look at it. It's insane. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But that game, I really hope I get to cast. I don't know. Do they have a match scheduled yet? 10. Oh, Expired versus Clan X is postponed. Son of a bitch. 10 o'clock. Yes, I definitely get to cast this game. Fuck yeah, man. Oh, I'm so excited for that game. All right. Well, Expired versus Clan X is postponed, I guess, for some reason. Maybe multiple people can't play. Maybe it's the 3 o'clock time frame doesn't work for Clan X or something. I don't know. We'll find out. But regardless, another game here that is match of the week material. For Expired, you're probably going to get Raven, Pizza, SQ, Fincher, Anna, and Super. Really good team. They have great backups too in Pocho, Evil, and Coffee. And then on the Clan X side, so last week's lineup at least, Lobaton on the third, Javi on a heavy, Bud on a heavy, the Baby Goat on a car, Bitch X on the car, Nitrox on the sniper. But, I mean, you got Manga you can throw in anywhere there. You got Matt you could throw in on a heavy. You got Mange you can throw in on a sniper. What a good team. You know, Railyard, right? And I think we played a scrim against Expired, or like an Expired Pug on Railyard, and they were tough, man. SQ really good. Raven, obviously, on a map like this is going to have a feast. Raven versus Nitrox is a super fun sniper matchup. Or if Nitrox is not sniping, Mand even. Raven versus Mand is a fucking fun sniper matchup. Clan X looked like a well-oiled machine on Lennon. They are scary, man. The frag power is scary. The experience they have playing together is scary. They're always right there at the top of the Silver Division. Season in and season out. I know what you're thinking. I said Clan X is a semifinalist prediction, and I didn't put Expired in there, so why is it so hard to predict? Well, that's what I mean, you know? Just on paper is one thing, but in the actual server, practically, totally different thing. I hate these fucking ads that are just an entire music video, dude. Enough. This is crazy. It's a whole music video. That's not an ad. It's just a music video. Jesus. Fucking YouTube, man. I'm tired. But yeah, in practicality is not paper. Tough, man. It's tough. Sniper going to be supremely important. Nitrox is so good on the snipers. He's just so good at everything. You can put him on any class, and he is going to be elite. Raven, I feel like he's getting to snipe regularly now, so he's just getting better and better with it. Whereas before, for seasons, he was like, I'm carring this week, I'm heavying this week, I'm sniping this week, I'm carring, blah, 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 blah. When you get to snipe or play any class consistently, it really does go a long way towards consistency. You know, SQ and Fincher, the big guns, you know, not on the sniper rifle here. Up against, like, Rafinha, Bitch X, Bud. I mean, there's so many big... I'm going to go with Clan X. I just kind of, like, had that thought as I was looking at it, like, oh, what do I think matchup versus matchup here? And it's just like, there's just so many good players here. There is on this team, too. That's why I am having trouble picking this one, but I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I said Clan X is one of the top 4 teams. I'm going to say that they win this one, but I think this is another thing here where you're going to see Expired end up a close game here. And I think that's good for Expired. They need some close games and to get that added understanding of how to stay alive in those close games and win those close games. That just builds character as a team and builds chemistry as a team. Obviously, Expired play together for seasons now, but climbing the mountain, right, getting to winning a championship is built on those things. There are plenty of teams that are stacked with talent, but it's losing the close ones for a while and then understanding how to win those close ones and turning that into stretching wins together where otherwise you might have gone like we win one, we lose one, we win one, we lose one. Now you're winning those close games. This is how you build character as a team. And I could easily see Expired winning this game, just flat out, right? But I'm going with Clan X here just because I picked them to be one of the 4 semifinalists. I can't just pick against them right away against a team that I didn't say I picked to be a semifinalist. That would just be a weird thing to say. It's a long season, though. You know, Expired could win this game against Clan X, and Clan X could still be in the semis and not Expired. Like, this game does not make or break that at all. So, I think this is going to be, again, I think there's 2 match of the weeks here in Silver, and hopefully, since Clan X and Expired aren't playing this weekend even, I'll get to cast them whenever they do play. Yeah, whew. That's a fucking heater of a game right there. So, yeah. I'm saying Clan X I'm saying single digits again. Both the matches of the week. Fun games, man. I don't know. This Silver division is scary. That's a scary Silver division. I would not want to be in Silver during this season because there's no freebies. There is no freebies in Silver at all. Anybody can beat anybody. Straight up. All right. On to the gold side of things. Let me do my game first, since I don't really talk much about my games. We play against Seoul. So for Thunder, I mean, I think we're playing Mondays. Let's say Tox, me, Jules, Brian, Ryan, John? Maybe Hudson's in there, maybe? I don't know. It's unclear. But probably these 6, I would say. For Seoul, Jackson PB, I feel like for sure. Stamp Blackhawk, I feel like for sure. The Bear, probably for sure. And Shreddies, I feel like that's generally the lineup. I don't know if Luke is going to play. I really hope Luke starts playing just because I want to see this lineup where it's PB, Jackson, and Dillard. That is the scariest rifle team to me. Me personally, I feel like those guys all generally just shit on me. But yeah, probably like Justin, Craig, and Cam, or no, Justin, Craig, and John Shreddies on the rifles, Cam on the sniper, the Stampers on the heavies. And if either of them picks up a sniper along the way, they'll just kill 10 of you in a row. We've seen it time and time again. They are both certified snipers, man. We knew it out of Stamp from him playing the sniper, but more and more, every time I see Jordan snipe, I'm like, this guy's a sniper. We just saw it in that LAN demo last week, I think, on Lennon against Under, where Jordan picked up a sniper rifle and got like 10 kills in a row in the Axis Loft. Like, he just was unkillable. Crazy stuff. Maybe that's something for Jordan to look into down the road, getting this season as the sniper, because I think he'd have fun. But yeah, good luck, have fun to Seoul here. I don't love this map. I think that there's a lot of little things that need to be tweaked on it before it's a map that should be a staple. And I mean, it's not a staple. We played it in Season 6, and we haven't played it since. There have been some changes made since then. For the better, I'm not sure. There are definitely some things that need to be fixed, but yeah, good luck, have fun to them. I love these guys. I look forward to being just absolutely obliterated by Justin and Craig all game on the rifle. I will be wishing that I was still sniping, I'm sure, by the end of this game. I asked a rifle, and now I'm going to have to deal with the consequences of that, getting my butthole ripped out. All right. Next up, we got Dice versus Over. This is a fun, man, the gold division is just so full of fun, man. It's like every match is a certifiable heater. Dice, you got Kevin, Matt, Paul, Alex, Johnny, Chris, and you got 4 good backups if any of them are missing. For Over last week, you had Kum, Caffrey, Saka, SC, Nightmare, Devin. Obviously, Nick could be in there if anyone else is missing. Mata, Jizzy, lots of options there. Really good team no matter who they put out there.
So I actually had the privilege of playing Dice in the only Railyard game that I've ever played, and they were fucking tough on this map, man. And like I was playing out of my mind in this game, sniping against Dice in Season 6, and it didn't matter. We still lost by like 3 caps or something, and I was like 72 and 35 or something. That's the Dice puzzle, right? There's times against that team where it feels like you should be winning, but they are just finding a way. They are just so good in the chaos, always. So good playing off of one another. They just have a really good understanding of how to win games, and against Over in particular, that is so important because they live in the chaos. They are the chaos. I feel like Over historically on the railroad maps always has these really close losses. Like I can think back to Icy Hot they lost to Icy Hot by like 6 points on Railyard. They beat TMC last season on Railroad 2 with a last minute or 2 ninja cap by single digits. I can think of we played them as Thunder twice on Railroad 2 to close games. I feel like they always have close games but don't often win them. However, I think that this is a good lineup to be able to do it. Whether it's Nick or Nightmare on the sniper against Kevin, that's kind of one of the guys that you want. There's not a lot of guys you can go, okay, we really need this guy sniping against Kevin. Most of the time, it's just like Kevin's going to shit on them. In this case, Over's got the guys you could, and then even if neither of them are there, you just have Devin to throw in there, like another guy who at least can shoot with Kevin, can win those 50-50 battles. It's going to be chaos. This map is kind of chaos. Without train car, it's just a mess. It's just bodies everywhere, running all over the map. You always end up off your route because things happen so fast and so chaotic. It's like you going a route more than 2 lives in a row almost never happens. Because you're like, oh, we have to cover our 1. Oh, we have to go try to break mid. Oh, they're at our 2. Blah, blah, blah. There's 5 guys in 4-way. Chaos is the name of the game here between Dice and Over. It would be on any map, but especially on Railyard. When is this game getting played? Don't have a time frame yet. Huh. We gonna find out. Maybe they're playing at 4. That would be awesome. I mean, obviously Over generally having to play in the afternoon. If they're playing at like 4, I can do another 3:30, whatever game here, the Volvo Emo game. Since this game looks like it's not getting played this week, there wouldn't be another Euro game, so I guess I could do this one. Or if even if Over and Dice is at 3 this week, I could do that first and then jump into this one. So I should get to cast that. Again, don't know if they're even going to get to play this week or not, but we'll see. I mean, I'm inclined to pick Dice here, but after watching that Over game against G-Skill, man, Over looks like a machine right now. They are clicking, and all their players are peaking. They're gonna be a lot for any team. They're gonna beat us. Just feels inevitable that we're losing to Over twice this season after the way they played against G-Skill. And then if they were to go out there and beat Dice this week, would be just such a storyline in gold. I lean Dice here. I think that they are really good at the railroad maps, especially. That to me going into the LAN was like, I really don't want to have to play this team on Railroad 2. Of course, then we magically got put against them on Railroad 2 and G-Skill on Harrington. But yeah, that's I'm going to go Dice here. I think that they have a really good, acute understanding of how they need to maneuver around the map, just individually and as a team on these railroad maps. They have a good feel for it, what works and what doesn't, and where they need to be and when they need to push and not. But, man, I don't see this being a blowout. I don't see this being triple digits. I barely see it being a double-digit win here. It's just Over is so fucking good right now. This is like the culmination of all the seasons where Over has had these kind of mix and match lineups. It feels like once SZ came into the mix and he's been playing consistently, so now you have Caffrey and SZ on the heavies, right? And Kum. If you have Sokka available too, and now Devin,
as a rifle team. That's so scary. And then no matter who's sniping, you got a fucking crazy sniper. It just feels like if ever there was a season for over, this might be the one. Coming out and giving G-Skill the closest game G-Skill has had in since they've been back, right? Good sign for over. We could even potentially see a world where you get a G-Skill over final and you end up having to play 3 maps like that one on Lennon, which would be a lot for my throat to take. But I'm going with Dice here. I got a feeling about over this season, man, that they're going to be right there when all is said and done. It just feels like they have been building and building and building and improving as a team, and they are so close to the top of the mountain. I think this matchup is especially rough. I might pick Dice against just about anybody, besides maybe G-Skill, because I don't pick against G-Skill. I just don't, and I won't be today. But I'm going to say Dice by 11. 11, but a lot of teams like to be not the team picked, so maybe that bodes well for over. I don't get all my predictions right, just like half of them. All right. And then the match of the week in gold, although calling anything a match of the week is kind of deceiving in gold because all the matches are insane. Like, if I called Dice over the match of the week, nobody would bat an eye. But G-Skill Icy Hot, this is the big one, right? Like, we want to see these two teams play each other. I said leading into the LAN that I thought this would be the final. I also said, although I'm pretty sure that it could just as easily see Dice end up in the final, and I called that shit. But G-Skill Icy Hot is kind of the two big dogs, right? Of these last however many seasons in KTP. And now we're getting a matchup. We actually have not had a G-Skill versus Icy Hot game ever. We had G-Skill versus TMC last season, but that was TMC. That's not Icy Hot. That's like me, Jules, Devin, Sean, Jesse, and Mitch. Not quite the same thing. For Icy, you figure, Jesse, William, Sean, Justin, Ben. After that, I have no idea. It was Chi last week, right? Can Casey ever play? No clue. He wasn't able to play in KTP in Season 7. Or Season 6, I don't think. Mitch, I assume he can be available. So he's definitely an option there. It's probably between Mitch, Chi, and T. Whoever it is, it's a really good 6th, obviously, right? On the G-Skill side of things, so last week it was Taylor, Milo, Chuck, Frank, Colin, and Linus. But obviously, like, Gall. Hypothetically, the LAN 6 at least, right? Taylor, Milo, Gall, Chuck, Frank, Colin. But anyone who's missing out of that 6, just the backups are so fucking good. Scott, Savage, Linus. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what class you're missing. You have a guy that can fill in on a very, very high level. Railyard, again, it's a weird one. Sniper here. Chuck and Ben, what a matchup. What a matchup. That's going to be an important one. Apartments, again, and Apartments is a weird one on this map. It's important, but it's not quite the catch-all that Railroad 2 Apartments is. It's just the way that it's built is kind of dog shit when it comes to having an impact on the double cap. Like, it's a lot harder to just be posted up in Apartments and making sure they don't get mid. You have to expose yourself every step of the way in order to really break mid. So it's not as much of like if you control Apartments, they're never going to get mid. It's really important to control Apartments still because it's such a huge part of the map, but it's not as much of a guarantee that Apartments means 80% of the map is under your control. Both teams understand the way that the meta is going to play on this map. I think G-Skill lives for the chaos a little more than Icy Hot. We've seen it with G-Skill. Sometimes they're better in the chaos. I think they feel more comfortable in the chaos, where it's just like, we're just fucking peeking each other and who wins this fight. I don't know. I already said I'm going to pick G-Skill, right? We know that. But speaking about it without a prediction in mind, like, I don't know what I actually think is going to happen in this game. I think it's inevitable to be a close one. I see no way that Icy Hot gets blown out ever, under any circumstances, by any team, on any map, on any day, period. So this is going to be a close game. That's a guarantee. I don't know. I don't know. I guess it also, right, depends on the lineup. Is either team missing a starter or multiple starters? That can immediately, what if G-Skill's missing like 4 guys? I don't know why they would be playing and agree to the time that would be happening, but you never know. There's a lot of questions always around these kinds of games where the teams are just so evenly matched. Apartments and Blue Room. See, here's the thing. Blue Room is a really, really good tool for the Axis. It's pretty much useless for the Allies other than to just, get out of it. If you're in Blue Room, you're going to die. The goal is to get the fuck out of there. Maybe occasionally you might get a couple picks while you're in Blue Room, but even if you got 1 pick against a good team, there's about to be a nade blowing up in your face. So, for the Allies, Blue Room is just a connector to get out to Underpass or the new hall next to it or up onto the ruins and onto the flag or up to Platte. Sandbag spawn, not as much of a tool on this map either, right? On Railroad 2, Sandbag is so OP. You can just leave one guy there, and if they send a spawn wave out that way, that guy can erase it. On this one, not so much. Not so much. It's a lot harder to just lock down that second flag spawn. And then the first flag is just a clusterfuck. The Axis first flag is a clusterfuck. So easy to lose track of people over there. It'll take people playing this map regularly before you end up with a clear protocol on how to actually make sure that you don't get capped on over there, other than just 6 guys lining up around the flag, there's just so much weird shit in that area, and 4-way, it's just removing train really fucked shit up on this map, and they're still trying to figure it out, I feel like, and this week of matches, I think, will help figure that out a lot more, and this one in particular, this is the big one. I'm casting this game. I don't care if there's another game at the same time. They're playing at 9 o'clock, so I'm sorry to all the other games that are going on at that time. It looks like there's an 8 game. Okay, so I can do that game, and then I can jump into some of Best Buds versus Clinic, and then I can jump into G-Skill Icy, and then I can jump into the silver match of the week. So it looks like the casting for Sunday, 3:30 Volvo versus Emo, 8 o'clock Ninja versus Rifle Nades on Lennon. And then, say this game is clearly we know who the winner is by the time 8:30 comes along. I'll just leave at 8:30, go into Best Buds versus Clinic. And then similar story, right? If the game is close, I'll stick it out as long as I, need to. But if one team is clearly going to win, then at 9 o'clock, I jump into G-Skill versus Icy Hot. That game won't last until 10, but I'll probably stay live anyways, right up until Price is Right versus the Band of Morons. I keep wanting to call them the Bad Morons. Band of Morons. Yeah. I'm really excited for this G-Skill Icy game. We've all been waiting to see this matchup for a while. And yeah, good luck, have fun to both those teams. Now, let's play a clean game out there, boys. Let's go out and give it everything we got. And put on a good show for the 60 people that'll be watching on Twitch. And then do the same in Price is Right versus Band of Morons. That's quite a back-to-back right there. Was the bronze match of the week supposed to happen in that time frame? Woo! Oh, I think I said No-Go to Ninja was the bronze match of the week. We don't know when that's getting played yet. So, unclear. I thought maybe we were going to have... But we do get Ninja Rifle Nades. We'll call that the bronze match of the week for now. So, we're going to have a back-to-back-to-back match of the week marathon. Let's fucking go, boys. I thought I was going to keep it under 2 hours, but I just can't shut the fuck up. Don't forget to submit to War Within for the frag of the week, and make sure you put demo times in with the demos. Don't just send the demos. Nobody has time to just watch everyone's demos. It's just not going to work that way. Don't forget to send your fucking times. Everybody have fun this week. Railyard is a little bit of a mess still, but this match, I think, is important for the map makers to understand exactly what needs to be done to make Railyard a mainstay of the rotation. Or to find out that it's just, there's not an answer right now. That's possible. Sometimes there just isn't an answer, right? It's totally possible that a railroad map without train in the structure that it is from a base is just too much. It's just not the right structure to play the map, and train car was just that important. I don't think so. I think that there is an avenue towards making Railyard a very fun playable map. I just
don't think it's quite there yet. It's just a little bit messy and chaotic. There's a few things that definitely need to be changed. I think the Axis spawn will be pulled back. That was one of the changes that Tox was talking about doing in the middle of the week and was like, if I change something like this, people are, there's going to be people who bitch about it. But the Axis because the spawns on Railroad, they were really far away in the spawn. Like, it took a while to get up the ramp towards the second flag for Axis. Right now, most of the spawns, and including multiple, like, God spawns, technically, are there on the Axis side. And the Axis can get basically into lower apartments before the front spawn of allies can get up White Steps and into lower apartments, right? Like, imagine that on Railroad 2. If that spawn on allied side who can get, like, into Underpass. It's kind of a similar thing there. Only it's into Underpass. Like, if you're an allied player, you can't get into apartments and onto fucking Dark Hall. Whereas as the Axis players right now with the spawn, you're just back in apartments like that. Which was not the way the map was built, right? And played for years, which might be a little too much. They might, even if they don't pull the spawn back necessarily, they might have to remove that really front spawn because, I mean, once Axis have apartments, it's really hard to get back in general. And with the way the spawns work, a good player can just lock down apps immediately. That's one of the changes that I think was the initial thought on what might be making it feel so weird in that area and why it just feels like the bars and apartments are just getting butt-fucked all the time. Yeah, now I just talked an extra 3 minutes for no apparent reason. All right, I love you guys. Mwah, mwah, mwah. See you guys on Sunday for a lot of casting. A lot of casting.